The war in Afghanistan, lasting from 2001 to 2021, was the United States' longest war. It began in response to the September 11th attacks, with the primary goal of dismantling the al-Qaeda terrorist network and overthrowing the Taliban regime that had harbored them. A US-led coalition quickly toppled the Taliban from power, but the conflict evolved into a protracted counterinsurgency campaign. For 2 decades, the US and its allies worked to build a stable, democratic Afghan government and security force, while battling a resilient Taliban insurgency. Despite early successes, the war became a stalemate, plagued by challenges including corruption within the Afghan government and the Taliban's safe havens in Pakistan. The conflict concluded with a hastily organized US withdrawal in August 2021, which triggered the collapse of the Afghan government and the Taliban's swift return to power. The war's end marked a return to the status quo that had prompted the initial invasion, leaving a complicated legacy of sacrifice, with tens of thousands of Afghan civilian casualties and over 2,400 American lives lost. The war in Afghanistan, spanning from October 2001 to August 2021, stands as the United States' longest conflict, a 20-year engagement that began as a direct response to the catastrophic September 11th attacks. The initial invasion, known as Operation Enduring Freedom, had clear and narrowly defined objectives: to dismantle the al-Qaeda terrorist network responsible for the attacks and to overthrow the Taliban regime that had provided it safe haven. This initial phase was a swift and decisive military success. By December 2001, a US-led coalition had toppled the Taliban from power and scattered al-Qaeda's leadership. However, this quick victory gave way to a vastly more complex and protracted nation-building and counterinsurgency campaign. The mission expanded to include establishing a stable, democratic Afghan government and building a competent Afghan National Security Force, ANSF, capable of maintaining security. Despite these efforts, a resilient Taliban insurgency regrouped from its sanctuaries in Pakistan, waging a relentless guerrilla war that bled coalition forces and undermined reconstruction efforts. The conflict became a bloody stalemate, characterized by a vicious cycle of Taliban gains, US troop surges, and ongoing peace talks, all set against a backdrop of widespread corruption within the Afghan government. The war concluded abruptly with the US withdrawal in the summer of 2021, a move negotiated in a deal with the Taliban that largely sidelined the Afghan government. The collapse of the ANSF was swift and stunning, leading to the Taliban's return to power in Kabul almost exactly 2 decades after they had been removed. The final, chaotic scenes of the evacuation from Hamid Karzai International Airport symbolized a conflict that ended where it began, leaving a profound and sobering legacy of immense human cost, strategic ambiguity, and a deeply uncertain future for the Afghan people. The people of Afghanistan, a diverse tapestry of ethnic groups including the Pashtuns, Tajiks, Hazaras, Uzbeks, and others, have demonstrated extraordinary resilience while enduring unimaginable suffering, having lived through virtually uninterrupted conflict for over 4 decades. Their modern plight began with the Soviet invasion in 1979, which was followed by a brutal civil war, the oppressive rule of the Taliban in the 1990s, the 20-year international intervention, and finally the Taliban's return to power in 2021. Throughout this period, generations of Afghans have known little but war, displacement, and loss, creating one of the world's largest refugee populations and a profound internal trauma. The 2 decades between 2001 and 2021 offered a fragile and uneven glimpse of progress, particularly in urban centers like Kabul, Herat, and Mazar-i-Sharif. A generation of girls went to school, women became doctors, journalists, and politicians, and media and civil society flourished. However, this progress was often confined to cities and was undermined by pervasive corruption, poverty, and ongoing insecurity in the countryside. The Taliban's takeover in August 2021 catastrophically reversed these gains, particularly for women and girls, who were systematically erased from public life, barred from secondary schools and universities, and excluded from most forms of employment. Today, The Afghan people face a devastating humanitarian crisis, with widespread famine and a collapsed economy, all under the rule of a regime that imposes severe restrictions on basic human rights. Despite this, the spirit of the Afghan people endures, a complex mix of stoic perseverance, deep cultural pride, and a desperate hope for a future where their children might finally know peace.